Hi, Tom Cole, the coach for Steve Taylor Community Star, and I'm here with the boss, Steve Taylor, and our star, Lyn Casye. You know her, a legendary radio voice in town, having a remarkable career, Lyn. You know, radio is such a different medium than TV. What has drawn you to radio? Because you obviously could do TV, but what has drawn you to radio?
I think the fact that there was more comfortable longevity to it. I didn't want to be one of those women who had to worry about aging out of their profession.
Yeah.
And I think that the women who are out there now are changing that facet of it, which is amazing.
Which is great.
It really is. But it was actually something you had to consider a little bit.
I ate my way off of TV, and Steve's got me on a diet, so I may make a comeback possibly.
But don't you love it now as you look at the networks and you look at people who look real? I mean, they do look like us now. It doesn't look like you have to have a model to be a model to
right,
be in a
you're
career.
spot on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Obviously, as soon as you start speaking, people probably will say, I know that voice.
K100.
How many years have you been locally in radio?
You know, I am one of the fortunate ones because I actually started my career, chiseled out a career here. It was the town that I was born and raised in, and I wanted to have my career, and I've been really fortunate. So, started back in 1985 for Reams Broadcasting. It was privately owned at the time, which was WCWA and WIOT.
Yep.
And I had this diploma tucked under my arm from the University of Toledo and no experience. The only position they were willing to put me at, receptionist. So I started as the receptionist, answering the phones.
Wow.
And it grew into opportunities to work with the sales department, work with the production department, work in a little on-air, position, and groomed my skills. So behind the scenes and in front of a microphone, I was able to really build a firm foundation and fill spots when they became available. So really lucky for me.
I really think we have real star power here today, and I don't say this lightly. I've been around a lot of folks, but you and Steve had that same quality, being authentic and being real and being nice. People relate to nice, authentic, and real, and you both carry yourself that way, and you've made a career out of it, and I really do believe that is the key to success in any kind of medium, because people pick up on somebody that's fake, somebody that's phony, or somebody that's not nice. And how hard is it to be nice? But a lot of people can't do it. You're always nice. Always. Steve is always nice. It doesn't make any difference.
Isn't it funny? Because I know you've got to attach those very words to him as
Well,
I do.
Absolutely, for
And-
sure we do. Yeah.
It's not hard to do, and you wonder why more people don't do it. But I would think that you both would say that's part of your success.
I would say that in part you are right, in that I think there's a lot more people, a lot more talented than I am. I really do, and I've always believed that. As a manager and program director for a number of years, that was always my motto: find the people who are more talented and smarter than myself and make sure they're a part of my team.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I know the level of talent that's out there, and I know that if you're genuine in who you are and that's how you present yourself, I think it does go a long way.
It's so great to have you here today because we've known each other for a number of years. Since I never was the guy that wanted to be on the radio, and I sort of stumbled into doing radio commercials and then television commercials, and I've always said, no, I'm not the face guy, and all of a sudden it happened. And Tom has said, well, when people can relate to somebody, and like Tom said, also understand the authentic person that's behind that camera or the microphone, they can relate. And so it's, that's one thing that I think we love about you, because it's so great to listen to you, and there's nothing phony there.
Thank you.
And for so many years though, we got to meet at one of the live broadcasts. So you go out and about, you've done all these things in Toledo, you've been involved with all sorts of amazing organizations and charities too. What do you think you've seen the most change in radio over the last few years? Because I know it's changed just from our standpoint too as a marketer. Those live remotes are great, but I don't think they carry the same weight maybe they did 10 years ago.
They don't. And I think whether you're talking about the music that's attached to radio or you're talking about the client and customer relationship, social media came into play and in many cases became the conduit. Where radio was that conduit for everybody and everything. We were the tentacles, reaching out. But I think that social media really changed that in a big way, and that would have to be the biggest impact. That and private ownership being, lost more to corporations. So,
That's definitely changed things.
yeah.
Well, K100, which you obviously are on every morning, has still stayed strong, remains strong, and does a great job in Northwest Ohio.
I'll tell you what, when I got to the point where I was program director and operations manager at WIOT, I thought I had reached the pinnacle of my career, and I had some amazing times and the most talented team of professionals, to be connected to. And then when I had opportunity to work at K100, I realized, oh my goodness, the best. This was amazing, but now I've really reached the pinnacle of what I think is my career. So the two sets of call letters locally that I think to be most proud of if you're employed in radio, I've had opportunity to be a part of those.
Unique selling proposition is what separates you from somebody else who does the same thing, right? And you and Steve have done the same thing. What separates you is giving back in the community. There are a lot of people that are on the radio or TV or sell cars, and they don't care about, they just want the bottom line, get the money, go home, but you care and you give back, and you both have done that. I think that draws a bond with people, because you can get your information anywhere. You can listen to, but if I know, hey, Lyn's been doing this and it's a great in the community, or Steve's doing that, it's great in the community, you're going to give that person the first look or the first listen, I would think,
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, I'd really love to take my platform and champion an important cause or two.
Yeah.
But it's time, family commitments, it doesn't allow me to do it in the way that I would like to. So I kind of dabble here and there and try to bring attention to or spotlight events or organizations along the way.
And look at how many of those you do during the course of a year.
And it is, and I get to be in places that I would not have opportunity to, or bring light to some things that maybe wouldn't have as much attention, and that does make it feel rewarding.
A young person going into radio today, Lyn, what would you?
There's not many of them, Tom.
Say they wanted to go into, they look at you and the career you've had and the success you've had. What would you tell them?
You hear more young people. It's actually, we have an intern doing a shadowing experience with us this week from St. John's.
Okay.
And he's a terrific young man, seems very bright and eager to learn. And it's so exciting to us to have somebody young want to get into radio as opposed to, TV or become a YouTube star. Exactly. So we're all like fawning over him and then like, oh, you want to know this? And you really want to attract young talent. And I think probably the biggest part of it is you can actually become woven into the fabric of your community in a way that you otherwise would not. It's always a reminder that there is something bigger than yourself, and I think that's important.
Yeah, you make people's mornings.
No,
I mean, you do.
Right,
I mean, you have favorite people you listen to, and they make your day. You're telling stories or good things, or
One of the things that we have as a tool now, of course, is texting. And so we've got a really cool tool, this text groove line. And so we're in constant communication with our listeners. And today there was a woman named Judy, and she just texted me and she just said, I'm in my kitchen and I'm just drinking my coffee. Oh, that was my favorite song, and I just wanted to say thank you. And it's like, it is so gratifying when you get that connection back.
Yeah.
Over the years, we ran a lot of promotions on the radio with all the stations, and too many to name. We had some fun with some Survive It and Win It, where we gave away a vehicle, and we did pumpkin Smashing Pumpkins out of the dealership.
I remember that one well.
And I think that's when we had a lot of interns, and they had to put the prizes in the pumpkins. The lot the next day was a mess because we actually got up in that boom, dropped.
I remember you got pretty well sunburned up on the roof.
And we were on the roof one time. Do you have any promotions that you've done, out and about over the years that you're saying that it was just one of those things where you're like, oh my gosh, that was a lot of fun?
Or do you have one you regret?
That's true too.
There's a lot of both. Big Date 88, never did
Big,
another one
what's
of those.
Big Date 88?
Oh my God, trying to match up singles and bus rides, it was
Big
terrible.
Date 88.
That was by the wayside fast. We did something called Bras Across America once for breast cancer awareness.
There you go.
And so it was really cool. So we had everybody, bring us your brassieres. It doesn't matter what color, what size. So the hallways were filled with people. And it's like, so we just hooked them all together. So we got people who were listeners participating in their boats, and we strung them across the mall.
It's kind of a cool promotion, actually. It's kind of cool.
I think we might have to bring back Bras Across America. I don't know.
So there's just so many. It's so much fun.
Well, and you talk about fun, and I think that's what a lot of people sort of look at radio, and it's a fun profession, right? I mean, for the most part, you get to interview great folks, you get to play great music. We talked a little bit off here before we started recording about some people that maybe you've interviewed in the past, and you shared a story with us. Talk about maybe an interview that you've had with one of these stars, and I know you've been different genres of music, but maybe somebody that stuck out and said, this was a great interview, oh, it was so much fun.
We had a blast interviewing Craig Morgan just a handful of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, and you set up the interview times, and you're never sure if it's their person who's going to call you.
Oh
as
yeah,
the
the handler. Everybody's got a handler.
Exactly.
Yeah, they do.
Well, he does not. So he calls up, and it's like, hey, yeah, it's Craig Morgan. Oh, great. So immediately you're thinking this is engaging because he's doing it himself.
Yeah.
But he goes, oh, whoa, wait a minute. And it's like, what in the world is going on here? He was trout fishing. So he got a big one on the line right when we were in the middle of conversation. And his joy just, carried over into the whole conversation then at that point in time. So that was really cool. I love that.
I'm sure you've been able to attend a lot of concerts too, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And you go and you guys sort of kick things off. When we opened our Lima store, we brought in Travis Tritt. And we also had Joe Diffie when we opened our Finnish store. And Joe Diffie was great. It was a little different than Travis Tritt, but maybe it was the end of Joe Diffie's career, so he wasn't as prima donna-ish, maybe, if I could say that. Travis Tritt sent us a whole list of things that we needed to have supplied for him, and it was very interesting. He was very specific on the type of candy he wanted, and the type of liquor he wanted, the type of booze he wanted, and then just trying to get him on the same schedule as we were on with the concert was a challenge. Have you ever had anything like that with some of these artists where they come in and you're on their time and they'll let you know that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I used a part of my role at WIOT. We did the parties in the park.
Oh yeah, those are great.
So I got to, book the acts as they came in, and I would take care of their writers, but I'd run through and basically say nope, yes, before they got on site. And some of the things were pretty funny or extreme, waters at particular temperatures, and this kind of thing, and things you can and cannot control sometimes. Never asked about the tube socks, why they needed them, So there's a lot of things, but I did actually have one person, I really made them mad. This is getting a little personal for my part because I even hate to admit that I was a smoker back in the day, but I was, and it's been a long time, but I was, and I picked up Lou Graham from the airport, and this is back in the day
Foreigner, right?
Yes. And so I'm picking about smoking in the car. I thought, yes, how horrifying. Now you would never think to do anything like that, But, and he was so mad. He hated me. He was just so mad at me. He couldn't wait. He wanted somebody else to come drive him. It's like, I'll get you there, But it was the first time I think that I realized how offensive that could be, and I quit smoking shortly thereafter.
Well, it's the M&M thing. Steve and I've chatted about this before with Van Halen. Van Halen used to, in their heyday, having the rider, they this, but no, they wanted M&Ms in the room, but no brown M&Ms. And
you'd have somebody pick them all out.
Yeah, and then when they'd come backstage, the first thing they would check were the M&Ms, and if the brown ones were out of there, they knew that the person was going to adhere to everything that was in the rider. That was the concept. If they took the time to do the M&Ms, then everything else should be okay. So that was the M&M deal.
It was kind of a test.
It was a test. Yeah, no question.
I think my biggest claim to fame was somebody famous, though. Melissa Etheridge, back in the day, we helped break her music in this region, and she was performing at the Stranahan Theater. At the same time, Crosby, Stills, and Nash were at the Toledo Zoo.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was David Crosby's birthday, and she was across the street. I said, how would you feel about coming to the amphitheater and singing happy birthday? We've got a big birthday cake we're going to present to him, and that would be really cool. She goes, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So she came out, she sang happy birthday to him. I introduced them. He is the father of her two children.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And you were the matchmaker.
They met right here in Toledo.
Big Date 88, you're right back where you started.
A little bit later.
My daughter and my wife went to that concert, Melissa Etheridge at the Stranahan, and she was great. They said she was fantastic.
A great live performer.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to Chris Young tomorrow night. Just talked to him today.
Yeah.
He was really engaging, so.
For sure.
Very cool.
I'm sure we could sit here and share Toledo stories all day long, but we know you're busy. We just wanted to thank you for all you do in our community. We know there's a million things that you're helping promote every single day on air, and you've been doing it for so long and with such great grace and style
Yes.
too. So
Absolutely.
thank you for all you do in our community, and thanks for being a community star.
Thank you. Every time that I'm invited to be a part of something, it just is pure privilege. You know, and today is one of those things. So
Oh,
thank you so much. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Lynn.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Steve Taylor's Community Star. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.